Welcome to the Sisterhood of Limitless Living. I'm Dr. April Moreno, autoimmune wellness researcher and professional helping women around the world to live their best possible lives despite the autoimmune condition. Listen in as we speak on various topics about the autoimmune journey and interview amazing and inspiring women who are living and thriving despite their autoimmune condition. Let's get started. Hello, Sisterhood. Welcome to another episode of Limitless Living. Today, we have Shayna Stone here to share her amazing autoimmune story. Shayna Stone is an actress, model, and full-time student living with and managing 3 autoimmune conditions. So help me welcome Shayna today. And I just can't wait to hear her amazing story of how she has been able to manage these 3 autoimmune conditions and live this amazing life as an actress, model, and full-time student. Welcome, Shayna.
Thank you, April. Thank you so much for having me.
Please tell us a little bit more about yourself. Introduce yourself to the sisterhood.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Well, my name is Shayna, and I am a full-time student. I'm also a mom of 2. And last year in 2018, my life took a different turn. You know, I was living a normal, healthy life and just started noticing some things going on with me. And I just kept putting them off and just assumed that, you know, things would go away. And during that time, I was having some issues, you know, with my skin and thought that maybe it was eczema or psoriasis, and went to a routine doctor's appointment, and my doctor didn't like the way my skin looked on my arm and suggested, you know, I go to a dermatologist. Didn't think nothing of it, just thought it was something like eczema or psoriasis. The dermatologist looked at my arm, you know, asked a few questions and requested to do a biopsy right then and there. I said, okay, sure, why not? And she gave a list of a couple things that she was looking for, and lupus was one of them. And she did ask that anyone in the family have lupus, and at that time, I didn't know of any relatives that had been diagnosed with lupus. And once the biopsy was complete, did come back that I have lupus, in addition with some lab work that she ran. I have lupus that primarily affects the skin, so subacute cutaneous lupus. Skin being the largest organ in our body, of course, that was devastating. As somebody who's aspiring or lives in the spotlight, an actress, a model, and you're told that you have an autoimmune disorder that affects the skin and that the lesions may be permanent. So yeah, from there, they ran more tests and other things started to come up, and you get referred to another doctor and another doctor and another doctor, and then they run all of these different panels. And after the diagnosis of lupus, shortly after in December, I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's. And then that doctor decided to run more tests.
Oh, wow.
And it just became a trickle-down effect as we start to unpack all the symptoms, the fatigue, the joint pain, just so many different symptoms that I was dealing with. More tests, and then we discovered an immune disorder I had never heard of, which is pernicious anemia. I didn't know what it was and what it meant at all, and had to do research to find out, you know, about pernicious anemia and its different levels of it, and it's due to the lack of intrinsic factor. That was like a really big new word for me. I'm like, intrinsic what?
Right.
So, you know, it's a lot.
It is. It's a lot. And all of that in 1 year, basically,
yes.
Is what happened.
Within like November, December, January, February, maybe within the 4 to 6 month span, I was just diagnoses after diagnoses. But to be honest, a part of it was a bit of relief because of the symptoms I was having. No other doctor could give me answers. And I thought mentally that there was something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Why can I not get out of the bed? Why am I tired? Why do, my joints hurt? And now I have all the supporting clinical data, which makes me feel a lot better in some aspect that I wasn't losing my mind.
Wow. So how much in advance, how many years before all of this had you started to notice some strange symptoms, maybe had gone to a doctor and maybe had them tell you that, it was like they didn't see anything, or, it was in your head or whatever it could be. Did you have experiences like that earlier on?
I did, and it caused me to be even more depressed because I knew that there were some things wrong. With the skin, I was just written a prescription for eczema, because I do have that in combination with the lesions associated with the lupus. And when I realized that the corticosteroid, or whatever you say, it wasn't working, that okay, perhaps this is something more. And but I still, when the doctor said, here's some cream for eczema, keep going. The tiredness, I'm a mom. I'm taking kids to football practice, to choir rehearsal. I work 40 hours a week. You're tired. Okay. Everybody's tired. And I was like, no, I'm really, really
Not
tired.
the same thing, right? There's something different here.
So 2017, that's when I started to notice that 2016, 2017, that something was wrong, more than just regular tiredness.
Right. Yeah. So those are some of the things that we hear when we interview or speak to others in the community, where they've gone to the doctor and the doctor tells them like, oh, it's just, because you're a mom, or it's just in your head kind of thing. You're just tired. It's nothing unusual. And, people are thinking, no, there's something here and we need to figure out what this is. I want to know what this is, what's going on. Right. So yeah, it's a journey for so many people just to get that diagnosis. It can take years.
Yeah, and I was grateful the last doctor who really, she took the time to listen to me, and we went over each symptom, and she was able to decide what test to run at this point. She listened very carefully and very attentively, and that's what I was most grateful for, because I was still search for more answers, especially when they confirmed that the lupus was contained to the skin. I was perplexed. I said, but I'm tired. I have joint pain. I have this. And you're telling me that it's only contained to the skin, which is great. I'm not complaining, because it does affect, it could affect the kidneys, the heart, etc. So it left me a little stumped. And so the new doctor, she said, okay, so you're still having, they're saying your lupus is, contained to the skin, but you're still having the joint pain, the fatigue. So she listened to that, and we were able to associate that, with the pernicious anemia, and then the hypothyroidism. So I have a vitamin D deficiency, and result of one of those conditions. I can't remember which one. And B12, of course, due to the lack of the intrinsic factor, which led to all of the other symptoms that I have.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you found yourself a really good doctor, someone who's willing to listen to you and hear all the different conditions. That one diagnosis wasn't enough. They listened to you and heard the fatigue, the pain, all these additional things that, in theory shouldn't have been there, but there was more to the story. Wow, that's wonderful. That's really good that you found a helpful doctor.
I'm most grateful. Most
Right.
grateful for that.
Definitely. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about the journey and the challenges that you face now? So you've got these diagnoses, 3 of them, within like a 1-year span of time. How did you handle this? How did you learn to process this and move forward in your life?
Therapy. I want to talk about behavioral health and the importance of therapy, living and surviving with autoimmune disorders, it's imperative.
Yes.
It's a very integral part of the healing process. It's an integral part of downloading the information that's given to you from those doctors. And I've been in therapy even prior to the diagnosis for about 2 years now. So I just had to step up and go to more appointments after those new diagnoses. Taking time off of work for my mental health. In addition to these new diagnoses, I took a 6-week leave from my job.
Mm-hmm.
If you can stay out longer, stay out longer. 2 months. I did 6 weeks, and I took the time to meditate, to pray, to continue to go to behavior therapy, just cry. I found a safe place to cry, to talk, but also to pray and to get the strength to say, okay, Shayna, you have this, this, and this, but you still have a purpose. You still have a life that you have to live, and you still have people that you have to touch and reach out to and inspire. And that's my goal. I want to share my story and live a life out loud and pour out and just talk about it. It's the most healing thing. It's just to find a safe place to talk about it.
That's beautiful. Yeah, same here. It's just like, it's already like 3 years in for me, and I'll still cry about it. You know, when I think about it, when I pray about it. Oh,
Yeah.
we already talked about this. I think I already cried.
Yeah, I know.
It's a journey. It just, yeah.
And it's a journey. It was days where I couldn't get out of bed. I have children that I would have to take to school, and it was like, I cannot. And I think that was the most hardest thing. What they had, my daughter is in the choir, she has a performance, and I cannot just to voice those words, but you telling it to your children, I cannot. And to try to make accommodations for them to get to where they need to go. I'm a single mom, I'm divorced. So if I can't do it, I think those were the darkest times when I couldn't be there for the children and I couldn't get out of the bed, are the most difficult times. But with the help of the B12 injections and vitamin D supplements and things, I'm able to have more energy to do my daily tasks, grocery shopping, taking the children to school when school was in, or taking them to practice, working 40 hours a week. All of that definitely became a challenge when these diagnoses were new. And I'm just now starting to manage them better.
So what did you tell your workplace? Were they receptive? Were they supportive? How was that experience?
I was very private. What I did, I just filed a claim for FMLA and short-term disability. So only my immediate supervisor is aware of my diagnoses. I'm really private. I didn't want anyone to coddle me. I'm in a position that's very demanding, and I work in compliance in a health insurance company. So I don't want them to think that I am not competent or equipped or well enough to handle my role. And I didn't tell everyone. So my immediate supervisor knows, and she'll reach out, hey, are you okay? How's your workload? Do you need a break? So she's very supportive and understanding, but my teammates around me, they don't know.
Right. Yeah. So that's definitely part of this journey as well. Having that diagnosis, it's not, just about understanding all this new vocabulary and coming to terms with it ourselves, but it's about how we are going to interact with other people, how we have to protect ourselves from how they're going to process this information based on like, who knows what, right? Stereotypes, the media, whatever it is, the unknown, and the way that they're going to like react to it. It's, it's none of our business, but at the same time, it's like we have to protect ourselves.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing. I think the most difficult was the children. They see me and mommy looks the same. Other than the skin lesions, they couldn't children may correlate illness with a certain look. Well, you look fine, mommy. Well, I don't understand, so with the help, I Google and pamphlets from the doctor's office, and instead of me sometimes trying to explain, I'll explain it to them. But I grabbed a couple of pamphlets from the doctor's office and said, you guys are smart, here, read this. And if you have any questions, then come back. I had to allow them to process the information at their own time too, and
Right.
come to terms with my illness. So then they'll read it and they'll have a question, and then they'll go to school. Oh, my friend's mom has lupus and she goes through this, or my teacher has lupus, and now they're able to pick up more bits and pieces from their peers from other sources other than me. And then they'll come back to me with more questions. Now I'm in the, since I've been diagnosed, I honestly say I'm in the best place ever. I started back acting again. I'm so excited about that. I was just filming over the weekend, and I just found a new lease on life. Like, okay, all right, you got this. Let's continue and live your life. Don't shrink yourself. Don't hide yourself. Know your limits, know your boundaries. If you need to take a break, take a break.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm tired and I'm doing something, I'll take a break. But I am so happy that I had the courage to just step back out and live my life the way I was living before.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, so if you could tell us a little bit more about that, how people can still live limitlessly, how despite these autoimmune conditions, there are ways that we can still continue to achieve our dreams and continue to live whatever that new normal could be. But tell us a little bit more about that experience.
I made some small step goals. I challenged myself. I just started like, okay, 1 hour a day, do something that you want to do. What's your favorite hobby? What do you want to do? 1 hour. Get up an hour before work, which is a challenge because I'm always tired. But I challenge myself to get up an hour before work, and that 1 hour, uh, I get sorry. That 1 hour I get to just focus on my favorite thing. So whatever your favorite thing is, if you like art, you can get up an hour, and if you have some art, so easel, paintbrush, you paint for an hour, just 1 hour. If you're an actor, find your favorite monologue, read it, study it, and just do that for an hour. If you are singing, listen to music for an hour, just give yourself time to get back into, the things that you love and that you want to do. And that's what I've been doing. So for 1 hour, I just took time, and I started doing little monologues and recording them on my phone. And one thing led to another. And I was like, hey, you want to come be in this web series? Sure. And, I was able to do that, and like, know your limits. I hadn't been on set in a long time. And if you know anything about being on set, hours could be 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. It's just know your limits, take your time. And I did that. It was times where I needed to sit down, or I couldn't, hey, I'm going to go sit over here. When you're ready for me to be back in the scene, I'll come back over, and was able to let them know I have a health condition that, I need this time. Okay, great. We'll come get you when we're ready to set up and ready to film again. Just know your limits. Carve out time for yourself and for your hobbies, 30 minutes, or even if it's an hour, and just take baby steps. And that's what I've been doing. And I'm so happy.
I love it. I think I need to do that too. Just make that more time for that 1 hour of like maybe
Yeah.
dancing or, hugging my dog or whatever
Yes.
it is, gardening.
Baking cookies, gardening. I love flowers, hiking, anything that creates or that just lights up your heart, or that creates that joy that you had before all these diagnoses. I just had to get back in touch with the things that I love. And that was the hardest part. But I found a way. It was a hard fight. You just gotta keep, sometimes like I remember getting up in that 1 hour and I still just want to do anything but cry, but you try to just shift your mind. Okay, nope. what were you happy for before this,
Right.
Shayna?
Right.
What was the spark? I mean, you have to just, and sometimes it's like it'll light up a little flicker, but it's not a lot, but just a little. And then you do it again the next day, and maybe that flicker, it gets a little brighter. Then you do it the next day, and then you realize you found your joy, you found your passion again. And you just got to keep on until you get there. I'm going to be graduating from college. I will be finishing my bachelor's degree in communication
Yay.
later on in the fall, but definitely a huge accomplishment considering the fact and all these diagnoses. I was able to maintain my student status, and I am eligible for graduation. So that is like the best
Congratulations.
news I've heard. Thank you. I've done some traveling. I went hiking for the first time. I was in Los Angeles, the Runyon Canyon Park. I didn't think I was going to make it, but I have an awesome support team. I had one kid in the front of me, one kid in the back of me. The kid in the front said, "Come on, Mom, you can do it." And the kid in the back said, "I'm not going to let you fall. I'm right behind you." And that was the most heartfelt thing, because I just didn't think I could do it because of my health. And they said, "We're not going to let you give up, Mommy. I'm going to go and I'm going to lead the way. I'm going to go check the path before you come." The oldest kid. Then the younger kid said, "I'm going to stay behind you in case you fall, and if you fall, I'm going to catch you."
Oh, that's so
having
supportive.
a support system and a support team is also beneficial and helpful to the healing process.
That is
And
so
the
beautiful.
journey.
And the journey. I love it. Oh, what sweet kids.
Thank you.
Yes. The next question I had for you was just like, how would you describe limitless living on your terms, in your definition? What is limitless living like for you?
For me right now is huge. It's something that I never thought that I would have obtained, and it took me to be diagnosed with 3 autoimmune disorders to know that I could live limitlessly. And that I find that to be the most profound thing, is that even living limits is stepping outside of yourself, to me, and knowing that you are a part of a collective group consciousness, and that when you heal and you talk about the things and that you're going through, it just has like a ripple effect. So living limitlessly is just stepping outside of yourself, to me. And I was always just inward turned and into myself. And now I realize that it's a bigger purpose that's bigger than me. And it's about everybody. And we all are connected.
Right. We are all connected. My gosh, that is the most beautiful description I've ever heard about limitless living with this autoimmune journey. I really love that description you provided. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
We are so connected. We are all interconnected, and it's a ripple effect. What we do, the way we feel, the way we treat other people, the way we treat ourselves affects other people as well. So we are a community, we're a sisterhood, and we are all part of this journey. We're all here together.
Yes. And I can tell you the joy that I have just being able to talk to you and to share my story with you, and how that it's helping me, and I hope that it helps others. Thank you so much. I'm just excited to finally talk about it and to heal and to live a life limitlessly.
Thank you so much. And we're so grateful that you're here. I know I'm really grateful to have met you and that you found us, the Sisterhood of Limitless Living. I love hearing your story. I feel strengthened by your story. I feel even more connected to the world. I feel connected to our sisterhood and our community, and even a stronger sense of purpose from this this conversation. So I'm
Thank
really
you.
grateful for you,
And
Shayna.
likewise, I am so grateful for you and the sisterhood as well.
Oh, wonderful. Is there anything you would like to share with us?
Yes, it's definitely important to have a good rapport with your doctor. We did talk about behavioral health. If you have a doctor that you're not seeing eye to eye with, or you're just not, you don't have that connection with, you can change doctors. You
Yes.
can interview doctors. You can screen doctors.
Yes.
You know, check with your insurance company just to make sure that they're in network. If they're not in network, then you can discuss, you know, options outside of that. But it's so important. It is imperative to have a good rapport with your doctor. Do not be afraid to tell them how you feel. As quacky as it may sound, if you have a symptom that doesn't make sense, you have to be comfortable enough to share these things with them so that they can look into that and make sure that doesn't lead to anything serious or anything more serious than what we already have. So I leave you with that. It's so important. You must have a good rapport with your doctors, with your team of doctors.
Definitely. We need doctors that we can trust. We need doctors who
We
are
do.
willing to listen to us.
We do. And if you go through 3 or 4 doctors in a year, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Until you find that doctor that you have that connection with, then so be it. Because it's your health and it's your livelihood that matters at the end of the day.
Definitely. Yeah. Being our own self-advocate, even if it takes 5, 10 doctors, finding someone that you can trust.
Yes.
Okay, Shayna. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations again on your upcoming graduation from college. Thank you for listening to the Sisterhood of Limitless Living podcast. If you like what you heard, come and follow us and subscribe on iTunes or give us a review. Also, you can join us on the Facebook group, The Sisterhood of Limitless Living, or come visit me on my website, aprilmorenophd.com. Take care.